Hey friends, welcome to day 4 of our Break the Cycle experience. I was very exhausted today, probably still feel that way. I laid down for about 45 minutes after dinner and apparently my body had other plans. I just woke up about 15 minutes ago. So tonight we're probably going to do a little bit of a condensed version, but I wanted to still go ahead and go live. So day 1, we talked about spotting the pattern. Day 2 was identifying the trigger. And day 3 was discomfort is not danger. So tonight is how self-trust is actually built. And this is where people usually think I was going to tell you, believe in yourself. So let's get to it. Self-trust in real life. By the end of tonight, you will understand why self-trust isn't built through perfection. It's built through keeping small promises to yourself. I think a lot of women believe that self-trust is something you either have or you don't. But what if self-trust is actually something you build? Because women don't come to me saying, I need self-trust. They come saying, I keep starting over, I can't stay consistent, I never follow through, and I don't trust myself anymore. They're not saying it's self-trust. And it usually does not disappear overnight. Let me repeat that. Self-trust usually does not disappear. Ugh, I cannot talk. Self-trust usually does not disappear overnight. It erodes little by little. And every time we say, I'll start Monday, I'll post tomorrow, I'll finish next week, oh, I'll get through. But we don't. And eventually, we start believing, I cannot trust myself. You weren't building evidence or failure. You were building evidence of inconsistency. And evidence can change. Self-trust is actually built through reps, many, many reps. Let's talk about a gym analogy. Nobody trusts themselves to lift 200 pounds on day 1, right? You don't just walk into the gym and decide you're gonna either bench press 200 pounds or you're gonna do some squats with 200 pounds. You do not do that the first time you go in. So trust comes from the repetition. You go in, maybe you just use the bar to start with, and you build up the weights. And eventually, through reps and time, you get to 200 pounds. Maybe you get to 300 pounds. I'm not sure. I know for me, there's no way I could walk into a gym and probably even do the bar right now with the issues I have with my legs. But if I started using squats with body weight, that would eventually build up to be able to use the bar and probably add some weights to the bar. So trust comes, again, like I said, from repetition. And the same is true with everything, not just with going to the gym. It's built when you say something like you go live, and you did, even if you overslept and woke up with just a few minutes before the live happened, but you still chose to go. You said you post, and you did. You said you'd show up, and you did, even if it wasn't perfect. Because if we want something to be perfect, we may never end up doing it. So, if nobody's even watching your live, like tonight, I don't know if anybody's watching my live. I'm traveling. I'm tired, obviously. But every night I said I would show up regardless. And every night I'm showing up regardless. That is self-trust. So let's talk about the trap of all or nothing thinking. This is a big one. This is where most women lose themselves because they think if I miss one day, I have failed. Remember, that is the meaning. You miss a day and you make it to mean I failed. And if I failed, I might as well quit. And then you say, I'll restart Monday. So the Monday loop just returned. Missing one day is not the problem. Leaving is the problem. Yeah, that's a big one. Self-trust is not built by becoming a perfect woman. It's built by becoming a woman who stays. When life gets messy, progress slows, motivation disappears, and doubt shows up, the woman stays. Not perfectly, but intentionally. That is how self-trust is built. So, let me ask you, what's one small promise you can keep to yourself tomorrow? Not a huge goal, not a life overhaul, just one promise. Like, I'm going to drink more water tomorrow. Maybe it's, I'm going to take a walk. Post a piece of content, even if it's messy. Read something for 10 minutes, or go to bed on time. And then keep it. Do that. That's it. Just keep that small promise to yourself. Tomorrow is day 5, where we're going to become the woman who stays. We're going to pull everything together, the pattern, the trigger, discomfort, and the self-trust, and talk about what happens when you build your life around restarts. Self-trust. Let me end with this. Self-trust is not built when everything goes perfectly. It is built when you keep showing up after it doesn't. And that is really hard to do. That is not something that we're seeing many people out there teach us how to show up even after life doesn't go perfectly. But we're going to do that and prove that we're women who stay and build our self-trust. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous night.